Hey, beautiful friends. This is Sarah Blumenfeld, host of Networking Done Different, an outreach of and invitation to more.com. Today, we're going to talk about one of my very favorite things in the whole world, and that would be crystals. And I found this lovely lady whose name is the same as mine, Sara. So how does it get better than that? And she has this lovely crystal shop, Oak Haven Crystals, down in Dickinson. We're going to talk about that and just share the energy of that place with you. So welcome, Sara.
Hi, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. As we were chatting just before we came on the air, I was sharing how when I walked into your store or your shop, I don't know what you like to call it, but the energy just walking in the door and then being in the space of the beautiful crystals, communicating with each other and communicating with who comes in and just creating this peaceful place to be was profound.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you felt it too. I've been working with crystals for, I got scared.
How many years?
I got scared. Well, really. I hope we can cut that part off.
No, this isn't edited at all.
Oh,
we are real here.
okay, well, we can be real. So I started working with crystals when I was a little girl, actually. My great-great-grandmother was a jeweler, and she gave me her part of her seashell collection, and it had a couple of rocks in it, and I was already interested in it. And because I loved it so much and kept growing with it, my mom took me to my first gem show when I was 8 years old.
Oh,
and
wow.
a woman who had a store kind of like mine. She made jewelry and she had crystals and everything was hand selected. And I got to go in and spend time there. And she let me go through the cases and I dusted things and I looked at all the crystal faces. And my mom came home with a book and I then borrowed the book because I slept with it and I took it to school with me. And
Oh, wow.
I learned so much about crystals. I was just still fascinated, and really anything nature and the elements and the way that things form and come together. And I later ended up working at a crystal shop and a jewelry shop where I was making jewelry with intention, filling up their store. And I started that in 2006. And it happens to be, to my knowledge, the second oldest crystal shop in the country. And I learned a lot by being present with people and showing up. And so I wanted to create a space, and it was very much about, it's a space for everyone. There's so much going on in the world and so many distractions and disruptions. And I wanted to create a beautiful place for people to come in and be. It's not about buying anything. I give everybody a free rock that comes in. And
awesome.
yeah, to just come in and enjoy. I'm people of all ages, kids too, and I really love it. There's something really beautiful that happens when you come into a space that's curated, and whatever form that is. And mine happens to be gems and minerals, crystals.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What led you to that space in particular?
Well, when I first visited here in April of 2021, and I camped out in Brazos Bend State Park with the alligators. I was super excited about it, but I was traveling around the whole area. And as soon as I drove down 517, there was an absolute knowingness that this is the place. And it actually brought some tears to my eyes. And I fell in love with the bayou. I went to Paul Hopkins Park and I fell in love with the bayou, and I just knew that this was the place. I had a couple of ideas in mind. I thought I might get a little property and have my shop on the property because I create too and do something like that. I love to garden and grow things, but there was something that just called with this place. So I went home to Colorado and I listed my house, which sold in less than 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
and so off market in less than 24 hours. And so I began just really sifting through everything and came out here. And I was part of an online fine art group doing being a resident artist, creating jewelry there. And I didn't know what I was going to do for sure. I was doing a few festivals and events, and it was hot like lava as it is here. And so I decided to look for a space. I was like, okay, I feel like
with air conditioning.
with air conditioning, part of that too, but it also seemed like the next step, there was something happening where it was, okay, what I'm doing is kind of working, but I'm not being in service in my full capacity. And so I started looking, and most of the places that I saw at first were really huge. They were just huge places. And I was thinking, okay, I could fill it with artists or do something very different. And 2 days after looking, this place became available, and it had everything I wanted. The arched windows so that rainbows could be made through all my little sun catchers, and a well-lit space, and the right size and everything. So I called the person and said, I know what I'm doing. It's not here yet. And they believed in me and rented me the space.
Oh,
and I didn't even have a name yet. And then the name, I didn't have a name yet.
It's a beautiful little area. And you have peacocks, I saw on Facebook.
Yeah, they are there was a peacock farm in the neighborhood. And there's all kinds of stories as to how it happened, but somehow peacocks came out of the farm, and there is a whole flock of them that roams up and down the bayou, and especially here on Fata Drive. And they come and visit. And I've heard there's 7 or 9 babies in the neighborhood, but I haven't seen them yet because I think the ladies kind of stay a little further back, and there's a gentleman who likes to protect the neighborhood and tell people if they're driving an appropriate speed or not.
So tell us a little bit about, I see you have some beautiful pieces there in front of you. Why don't you just share what we are looking at?
Sure. Well, I have a few. This one is quite an interesting piece that's right in front of me. It is really, I think it'd be called a rainbow amethyst, which now there's a name for it. When I first got it, there wasn't a name for it. And it has varying colors because of different elements present in it, from chlorite and hematite. So this is a whole combination. So this green part would be quartz. Well, that would be probably praisiolite, which is green amethyst. And then it keeps rotating through colors. The whole backside, see if I can hold it up a little more.
Oh, yeah.
So these are flowers. This was an individual formation. It's very unusual, the shape of it, and it's actually a pocket. And it was part of my personal collection, and definitely a dear friend. It's a heart, and there's a well inside, and I really love that. So I brought it to the store and put it on display because I was called to, once I knew this space was happening, I began bringing most of what had been with me here. And I heard it's time, and I just keep sharing these pieces, and I love it when they go home with their person. I get to be the steward.
Speaking of that.
Yeah.
So, y'all, when you go into this shop, just take your time and look around and let the piece that wants to go home with you call to you. And that is exactly what happened. This is ocean jasper, and it's just stunningly beautiful. And as soon as I got in range of it, it's like, hey, I want to go home with you. And it was the piece for that day. Next time there'll be another piece that wants to come home with me. But I love that. And sometimes the pieces that we have want to go live with someone else for a while, and that's okay too. But it's just stunning.
I'm so happy that it found you. And that's exactly the way I recommend to people. A lot of people that come in have maybe never been in a crystal store before. And they've even expressed to me that they were a little nervous to come in because I think there's so much information and people out there and saying different things that it can be a little confusing, or you feel like maybe you might do it wrong, and it's so you cannot. And that's really what I get to share with people, that if you were coming into a space like this and wanting to, you're working on cultivating peace within yourself and your environment, and you walk in and you have that awareness and that feeling, or even the glimmer of what that feels like, because you're making some new patterns in your life, and you walk around and you feel what calls to you, and it will be exactly the right one. I love that.
Because crystals are living beings, right? And they definitely communicate with you.
Well, they do. And so they are, I do see them, they are beings, and everything is a being aware of itself. Crystals are particularly interesting and called to people quite often. I think it has something to do with what they are. They are completely ordered molecules of elements. That is a pure vibration. Now there can be, and so it's that pure vibration. And so it's many of them have formed over millions and millions of years.
Yeah.
And so that could be, that it has an isness about it. And we feel it. We can feel it. So.
and a stability to it is kind of what I'm feeling.
Exactly. It's a stability. And sometimes when we have an experience, once we've had an experience, it's very easy to feel that within you. And sometimes we need a physical, we can use a physical reminder, or we don't need anything, but the tools that we have help bring in that awareness and that remembering who we really are.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. So a couple more pieces. This one was from my personal collection too, and it happens to be really I've now seen one that's very, very large, that's, several feet tall, but one of the largest natural citrine crystals I have seen in my world. And it is a smoky citrine. I don't know if you can quite get the gray lines that come up in it. Yeah. And it's a special formation. This bottom part is self-healed. It broke off of where it was growing. And then over time, more liquid and minerals healed it and grew new crystal faces. So nobody came along and, knocked these off. I specifically hand select everything in here too. And that's probably part of that feeling. There's a knowingness when I go and select everything, and I'm buying from people I've known for years and years, and and some of them were also suppliers of before. So I mean, now Grandpa is there, and it's all the families and people who come from other places, and we may not speak the same language, but I have people who they remember me, and I bring people little gifts. I remember what they like, and then I bring, who's working, and it's like a family. And so I trust who I'm selecting from, and they just kind of, it's not a voice that tells me, there's a knowingness and a feeling, and it's much like that feeling, that knowingness when I'm on the path and really aligned. And so it just says whoop, 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 whoop. And yes, I look at it too. There's some that I have to look at a little bit longer, but at this point, because I've been doing it for so long, it's very easy to get out of my own way with that, and just I get to be in service and bring them. I'm just the middle person.
Right.
Home. Yeah. I also have some fluorite from Madagascar here. And this one, if you bring it out in the sunlight, you can see a little line of blue. There was a batch of really deep color changing fluorite that came out of Madagascar a few years ago. This is not one of those pieces, because those are or more of a gallery kind of place.
Right, right.
And then I also have kyanite here, which kyanite with quartz.
Oh, wow. That's
And
beautiful.
I love kyanite, and I don't always talk about exactly what the crystals mean, because I think people have experiences and somebody's written about it, and then there's all these people who write about it. And like I said, it goes back to, you know, the knowing within. What I look at specifically too is learning different elements and what elements are in something. If, for example, if it's rich in iron, it's probably going to be on the head, like more grounding side or different things. But I also look at the shape and the formation and what is happening here.
Yeah.
And to me, and then there's black as well on the back. And black is always going to be more of a grounding kind of feeling. And then there's quartz with it, which quartz, it's in every space shuttle, in every computer, the space shuttle, cell phones, watches, radios, because it transmits data. And so we can talk with it and to it and through it. And it tends to make kind of a cohesive, I feel like it makes a cohesive energy when it is like this. It's all around it. It's supporting. Kyanite can be a little bit of a brittle or fragile stone. And so this has the, it's fully supported and standing straight up. And it's radiant in all directions, and I love that. And that's why one of the reasons why I picked that one up. And then I also love when there's worlds within worlds.
Yeah.
This one is actually a chlorite phantom, and so it would be hard to see probably, but there is a triangle and another triangle and another triangle in here of color that's green, because the crystal started growing and stopped growing, and at one point the chlorite coated the tip, and then it kept growing again, didn't have any chlorite in the solution. And then there's also this there, I can tell there's some iron in the coating on the top here because it's orange. And sometimes, I mean, you wouldn't always know that, but I know because what would form with it. And then the back part has all of these other little extra double terminated pieces. So that's points on both ends. And there's a whole lot.
There's a lot going on in that piece.
There's a lot going on here. It's a little rocket ship.
Yeah.
And then I have the Celeste, which I always love. That's such a sweet and soothing and angelic color. It's just beautiful. And
yeah, that's stunning. Wow.
It's actually part of it's on my profile picture for the shop. And at a certain angle, you could see a face in it. He has full on lips and eyes and everything. And I am an absolute fan of labradorite. It was first discovered in the Labrador Islands, but today it didn't have as much fire in it. And the material that's on the market today is Madagascan typically. And yeah, it's just beautiful. I love the light that comes through, the way that things reflect. And
so if someone comes in and they want some advice from you, like, okay, I'm looking for something that helps me feel calm or helps me stay focused, or you can guide them in that way?
Yes. And I do start with what I was mentioning before, where I have them feel what they would like. And a lot of I'm hearing support, but I also I see I'm never going to tell anybody what to do or how to do it, but I like to always bring it back to yourself, and that the knower is within, because sometimes people think that I might know better than they would. And and it's not true. No one knows. And there's no one knows better than you for really, I mean, about you. And so I start by having a conversation, a little bit of a conversation, and I often try to encourage them to first take a peek around the store and just see if there's anything that calls, and then we can talk about the meaning that is, in books and different things, and what my awareness is on those types of minerals. And also sometimes we'll talk about shape as well. Like if you're looking for a calming, soothing stone, it's probably going to be more of a smooth shape, but not a crate those, it's probably going to be a little bit more smooth, or a sphere, or a pocket piece, something that brings in that. And there's a time and a place to have those beautiful, that's for the expansion, but sometimes we need to hit the soothe button too. But it's the soothe button. I'm gonna have to remember that, but yeah, so
right.
I help people in that way, and I have a few different tools and techniques, because when I graduated high school, I actually started training in a variety of healing modalities, and learning a lot of different techniques to just maintain my own energy field and those things. So I help people if they're interested too. I can meet people with wherever they're at. If you want to come in and look, just look and enjoy a beautiful time, maybe hear a joke or two, I got you. And if you want to come in and you're moving through something, I have you there too. And it's just, I get to just show up and meet people on an individual basis, which is what I really love, and why I focus more on my in-store, and I share some on social media because that's the day we live in. But what I'm really here for is just to be in service and have that interaction. And I love the way you're in service with being on video, and it's really beautiful. It's the same kind of, it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah. So I see you have some beautiful jewelry pieces there as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank
you. So if you want some jewelry, you can go. If you want a piece to like put on your counter, you can get that too.
Yeah, if you want to wear it or put it in your pocket or display it in your home. I mean, there's pieces for just that you can display for a variety of reasons, or carry with you, or jewelry. And I hand make all the sterling silver and gemstone jewelry. And when I counted last, because I was curious, I had, and the numbers change now, but I had 300 necklaces and 170 pairs of earrings. I make the earring hooks and everything, and I occasionally do some custom work, but more so I just feel I get a sense of what's to be created, and I know it's created for that person, and they come in and find it. But so you can find things to wear and things to put in your home and things to take with you. Lots of people come in for gifts too. I'm grateful that this is a place that would inspire people to share their heart with other people like that. It's really sweet.
Yeah. One of the things that I've found with crystals especially is, of course, they have a vibration, right? Each of them has a different vibration, and they are contributing to the vibration of the planet based on where they are. And this is my point of view. And so let's say this crystal started out somewhere, and then it's like made this trip through you to me, because right now it wants to be in this space, vibrating right here with me and joining our vibration to create something that didn't exist before. And I love that more than I can tell you.
Absolutely. I think I think in those ways too, where I can see, depending on where they come from and how deeply in the earth they were and how they've moved, and even quite often they've risen to the surface from tumultuous earth events. I mean, there's big things, and I look at everything teaches me, and even that, or sometimes it's been tumbled in the river, and it's tumbled in, and it was once a pointed crystal, and then it's been tumbled for so far down, all that water smooths out all the edges, and then you've got something different than when it started. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, I feel like the energy that we are putting the call out for is seeking us, and
Yep.
we go into your store, we're more likely to find it. That's my point of view anyway.
I think that if you're looking for you, you're gonna find you.
Mhm.
And that is something that a lot of people who come here are somewhere where they're at. Things are opening up and changing and transforming, and stepping into you, and really the real you. And even with me getting nervous at the beginning of the interview, I don't like to get on camera, and I got a little nervous, but really I know it's just me being me, and another reflection of it. And so it's a wonderful, I love that I get to be here, and people come in and have that same kind of little nervous moment that I had. And because they're like, I'm working on, I know I'm working on something new. And to even come clean with other people and say that you don't have to tell all the detail. I don't need detail. You don't have to do any of that, but just be like, I'm here to grow, and it's a big deal. And I love it. I get brought to tears of gratitude every day, quite often on the way in and on the way home from work, because I cannot believe, I can. And it looks like I planned this all along. There have been so many times where I've let the dream that I had, I thought it was going to look different and come together differently than it did. And so I just let it go. And then it really came together when I came here. And I know that this is my community and this is my home. And I'm so grateful to be here and be in service. And people can show up as they are. And that's the fact that people can tell that they can show up as they are with me is it means it's the highest honor. So
So tell us, where is the store and what are your hours?
The store is at it's 3709 Fata Drive in Dickinson on 517. It's right across from Steam Cafe, which just opened where the quilt shop was. It's a mile off of Highway 3 and a half a mile off of 45.
And your hours?
My hours, my hours right now are Tuesday through Friday 10 to 6 and Saturday 10 to 4, but I'm also available by appointment outside of those hours. And typically you go to my Facebook page and send me a message, and then I can schedule with you.
And what is your Facebook page?
It is Oak Haven Crystals and jewelry at the end of it. But if you look up Oak Haven Crystals, it should pop up.
Okay. Do you teach classes at all?
I have, and right now I'm not doing that, but I have it in mind. I have a few ideas rolling. I'm always creating more things. I want to do a few projects and different things. I've had maybe creating projects, but also I have people come in and ask me if I do classes. And one thing that's on my mind that I'd really love to do, because people are at such different awarenesses, me designing a class that I feel like will meet people's needs of where they're at hasn't quite formed for me yet. But what I do love the idea of is maybe you have a group of people that you want to take a class, and I'll do it. And depending on the group, I can do it custom. Right now, as it is, when people come in and they ask questions, I am not the owner of any of this. And so I just share openly with wherever. If people are asking for tools and I have them, I will share it, and take what you want and leave the rest. But I'd love to do a few little project classes, maybe around Christmas. Right now I'm getting ready for this coming month in August is going to be my 1-year anniversary. And so I'm piling up a bunch of pieces for giveaways and going to post those. And then I go to the gem show in September and go hand select. So it'll be a little bit of a busy time.
Oh,
a little bit busy time, but they've also asked me to maybe teach classes across the way at Steam Cafe too. And if they had a group of people who had a specific interest and wanted to know about a specific thing, my knowledge is so broad that I have a hard time, and I think kind of outside of the box, that I have a hard time figuring, like, narrowing it down to what would be a class. But if somebody told me what they wanted to learn, I'd say sure. And then I can add in like where they want to start. I can fill in the blank. So I'm open to doing that, and even groups and groups.
So the best place to stay informed about things like your celebration of your 1-year anniversary, I'm back from the Crystal Show, come and see what I got, is to follow you on Facebook.
Yes, I also have an Instagram as well, and I keep my Google page updated. You can find the link for my Instagram page right on my Facebook page, but and then I do keep Google updated quite often with photos. You can also always send me a message and just ask any questions you like. If you're wondering if I have something in stock or if I can get something, you can send me a message. I'll send you videos, pictures, all the details.
Oh, cool. Awesome. All right. Wow. Anything else you'd like to share before we close up today?
I've shared a lot.
Y'all, really, you have got to go see this shop. It is just so beautiful, and you will feel it when you walk in, and you will be so grateful that you went. Right? All right. Thank you all so much for joining us today on Networking Done Different. I always appreciate you listening to our shows. If you would like to be interviewed, please email me at networkingdonedifferent@gmail.com. Bye for now.